Daf Yomi Tractate Sanhedrin, page 91b. Actually, we're in the middle of a parable. The parable that Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was saying to Antoninus. I will tell you a parable to what matters is comparable. It is comparable to a king of flesh and blood who had a fine orchard, and in it were, and now we're on top of 91b. In it were Bekurot Naot V'Hashiv Bo Shnei Shomrim. In his orchard were fine first fruits of a fig tree. And he stationed 2 guards in the orchard, one lame, who was unable to walk, and one blind. Yehoshua lo shnei shomrim, echad chiger, v'echad someh. Amar lo chiger lesomeh, bikurot naot ani roe b'pardes. Po v'hirkivani unviam v'em leochlam rochav chiger al gabe soma v'vium leochlam. So one was lame and couldn't walk, and one was blind. Neither was capable of reaching the fruit on the trees in the orchard without the assistance of the other. The lame person said to the blind person, I see fine fruits of a fig tree in the orchard. Come and place me on your shoulders, and I will guide you to the tree and will bring the figs to eat them. The lame person rode upon the shoulders of the blind person, and they brought the figs and ate them. Yamim ba bal pardes amar lehen, bikurot naot hechan hen. Amar lo chiger, klum yesh li raglaim lalech bahen. Amar lo soma, klum yesh li naim lirot maasa. Hirkiv chiger agav soma v'danot ham ka'echad. Sometime later, the owner of the orchard came to the orchard. He said to the guards, the fine first fruits of a fig tree that were in the orchard, where are they? The lame person said, do I have legs with which I could be able to walk and take the figs? The blind person said, do I have eyes with which I would be able to see the way to the figs? What did the owner of the orchard do? He placed the lame person on the shoulders of the blind person, just as they did when they stole the figs. And he judged them as one. Afakadosh Baruch Hu, hevi nishama bezorka baguf, v'danotam ke'echad shneimar, yikra al shemayim me'al, ve'el ha'aretz ladinamo. Yikra al shemayim me'al, zo neshama, ve'el ha'aretz ladinamo, zo aguf. So to the Holy One, blessed be He, brings the soul on the day of judgment and casts it back into the body, as they were when they sinned, and He judges them as one, as it is stated. He calls to the heavens above and to the earth that He may judge His people. Psalm 50, verse 4. He calls to the heavens above. This is the soul, which is heavenly, and to the earth that He may judge His people. This is the body, which is earthly. Amar le Antoninus le Rebbe, mipnei ma chamo yotze b'mizrach v'shokad b'ma'arav. Amar le I have ibcha, nami hachi have amart li. Amar le hachi ka'amina lach, mipnei ma shokad b'ma'arav. The Gemara relates another exchange. Antoninus said to Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, for what reason does the sun emerge in the east and set in the west? Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi said to him, if it were the reverse, you would have also said to me, as the sun must emerge from one direction and set in the other. And so he said to him, this is what I'm saying to you. For what reason does the sun set in the west and not occasionally deviate and set elsewhere? Amar le kedei litain shalom likona, shinemar utzva shemayim lecha mishtachavim. Amar le v'teziel ad palga dergia, v'titain shlama v'te'ol mishum po'alim mishum ovdei drachim. Yehuda said to him, the sun always sets in the west in order to greet its creator, as it is stated, and the hosts of heaven worship you. Nehemiah 9:6. Setting is a form of worship. It is as though the sun is bowing to God. The divine presence rests in the west, as is evident from the fact that the Holy of Holies in the temple, in which the ark, the resting place of the divine presence is located in the west. Antonina said to him, if so, let the sun come until the midpoint in the sky, set slightly and greet its creator, and return and enter its place of origin in the east and set there. Yehoshua answered to him, the sun sets in the west due to workers and due to travelers. As if the sun did not proceed from the east to the west, with the light of day gradually waning, they would not know that it is time to return home or to find an inn. ואומר לו אנטונינוס רבי, נשמה ממתי ניתנה באדם משעת פקידה ומשעת יצירה? אמר לו משעת יצירה. אמר לו אפשר חתיכה של בשר עומדת 3 ימים ולא מלח ואינו מסרחת אלא בשעת פקידה. אמר רבי דבר זה למדני אנטונינוס ומקרא מיסיו שנאמר ופקודתך שמרה רוחי. Antonina said to Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, from when is the soul placed in a person? Is it from the moment of conception or from the moment of the formation of the embryo, 40 days after conception? Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi said to him, it is from the moment of the formation of the embryo. Antonina said to him, that is inconceivable. Is it possible that a piece of meat could stand for even 3 days without salt as a preservative and would not rot? The embryo could not exist for 40 days without a soul. Rather, the soul is placed in man from the moment of conception. Yehuda Hanasi said, Antoninus taught me this matter, and there is a verse that supports him, as it is stated, and your providence has preserved my spirit. Job 10:12, indicating that it is from the moment of conception that the soul is preserved within a person. Amar lo Antoninus Rabbi me mesayit sahara shel b'adam mishas yitzira mishas yitzira. Amar lo mishas yitzira. Amar lo im kein boet b'mei imo yotzi ela mishas yitzira. Amar Rabbi davar zeh lamdeni Antoninus mikra mesayo shenemar lepetach hatas robetz. And Antoninus said to Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, from when does the evil inclination dominate a person? Is it from the moment of the formation of the embryo, or from the moment of the emergence of the womb? Rabbi Yehuda Nasi said to him, it is from the moment of the formation of the embryo. And Antoninus said to him, if so, the inclination would cause the fetus to kick his mother's innards and emerge from the womb. Rather, the evil inclination dominates a person from the moment of emergence from the womb. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi said, Antoninus taught me this matter, and there is a verse that supports him. As it is stated, sin crouches at the entrance. Genesis 4:7, indicating that it is from the moment of birth, when the newborn emerges from the entrance of his mother's womb, that the evil inclination lurks. Okay. Reish Lakish Rami Ksiv Bam Iver Piseach Harav Eleres Yachdav Uksiv Az Yidalei Ki Hayar Piseach V'Taron Lashon Ilem Ki Nivku B'Midbar Mayim Nechalim Ba'arava HaKetzad Omdin B'Muman U'Mitrapin. Reish Lakish raises a contradiction between two verses written with regard to the resurrection of the dead. It is written, I will bring them from the north country and gather them from the ends of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child and the woman giving birth together. Jeremiah 31 verse 7, indicating that at the end of days there will still be people with physical defects. And it is written, then shall the lame man leap as a deer, and the tongue of the mute sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert. Isaiah 35, verse 6, indicating that at the end of days there will be no people with physical defects. How so? When resurrected, the dead will arise, still afflicted with their defects, and they will then be healed. Ularami ksiv vilama v'sonetach u'macha Hashem dima mi'al kol panim וכתיב כי הנער בן 100 שנה ימוס לא יהיה משם עוד עול ימים לא קשיא קם בישראל קם באומות העולם מה באוהסם הנח תכתיב בהו ועמדו זרים וראו סנכם וננחל יקרם כל מכם. Will erase the contradiction. It is written, He will swallow death forever, and the Lord will wipe tears from all faces. Isaiah 25:8, indicating that death will no longer exist at the end of days. And it is written, there shall be no more an infant a few days old, then for the youngest shall die 100 years old. Isaiah 65:20. The Gemara answers that this contradiction is not difficult. The verse here in Isaiah chapter 25 is written with regard to the Jewish people who will live forever after resurrection. The verse there in Isaiah chapter 65 is written with regard to Gentiles who will ultimately die after an extremely long life. The Gemara asks, and what do Gentiles seek? Meaning, what will they merit to live in that era? The Gemara answers that the verse is referring to those Gentiles about whom it is written, and strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and aliens shall be your plowmen and vine dressers. Isaiah 61:5. Rav Chizda Rami ksiv yichaf rav Moshe b'chama ki malach Hashem tziva'os uksiv v'yaor halevana ki orachama v'orachama ki yeh shivatayim ki or shivat hayamim lo kashya kan yimot HaMashiach kan l'olam haba. Rav Chizda raises the contradiction. It is written, then the moon shall be confounded and the sun ashamed, when the Lord of hosts will reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his elders shall be his glory. Isaiah 24:23, indicating that the sun and the moon will no longer shine at the end of days. And it is written, and the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be sevenfold, as the light of 7 days. Isaiah 30:26, indicating that the sun and the moon will exist, and they will shine more brightly. The Gemara answers, this is not difficult. The verse here in Isaiah chapter 30 is written with regard to the days of the Messiah, when the sun and the moon will shine more brightly. And the verse there in Isaiah chapter 24 is written with regard to the world to come, when only the light will be the light of God. ולשמואל דאמר אין בהם בון העולם הזה לימוד משיח, אלא שאין בין העולם הזה לימוד משיח אלא שיבוד גיליות בלבד. לא קשיא כאן במחנה צדיקים, כאן במחנה שכינה. The Gemara asks, according to Shmuel, who says the difference between this world and the Messianic era is only subjugation of the exiles, as during that era the Jewish people will be freed from that subjugation. How is the contradiction resolved? The Gemara answers that even according to Shmuel, this contradiction is not difficult. The verse here in Isaiah chapter 30 is written with regard to light, to the light in the camp of the righteous. The verse there in Isaiah 24, the verse is written with regard to the camp of the divine presence, when the only light will be the light of God. Rav Rami ksiv ani amis v'achiyeh v'ksiv b'chatz v'yani alpeh amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu ma she'ani memis ani mechayeh v'adar ma she'chatzti v'ani alpeh. Rav raises the contradiction. It's written, I will kill, and I will bring to life. Deuteronomy 32:39, indicating that God is capable of reviving the dead, and it is written immediately afterward, I wounded and I heal, which indicates that God will only heal the wounded. Rather, it should be understood, the Holy One, blessed be He, is saying, what I kill I bring to life, indicating that God revives the dead, and then what I wounded I will heal. Tanu Rabbanan ani yamis v'achiyeh יכול שתהא מיזה באחד וחיים באחד כדרך שהעולם נוהג אבל לא אומר מחצתי ואני ארפה מה מחיצה ורפוא באחד אף מיזה וחיים באחד מכאן תשובה לאומרין אין תחייס המסים מן התורה. The sages taught in a Braita with regard to the verse I will kill and I will bring to life. One might have thought that it means that there will be death for one person and life for another person in the typical manner that the world operates. Therefore, the verse states, I wounded and I will heal. Just as wounding and healing take place in one person, so too death and bringing back to life take place in one person. From here there is a response to those who say that there is no resurrection of the dead derived from the Torah. Tanya Amar Rabbi Meir Minayin Tchiyas HaMeisim Min HaTorah Shinemar Az Yishu Moshe V'Yisrael Shazos Lashem Shar Lo Ne'emar El Yashir Mikan Tchiyas HaMeisim Min HaTorah Kiyotzi Bedavar Ata Omer Az Yivnei Yehoshua Mizbeach Lashem Bana lo ne'emar el yivneh mikan etchias hameisim min haTorah. It is taught in prior to the Rabbi Meir said, from where is the resurrection of the dead derived from the Torah? It is derived from the verse, as it is stated, then Moses and the children of Israel will sing this song to the Lord, Exodus 15:1. It is not stated sang in the verse, rather the term they will sing is stated, indicating that Moses will come back to life and sing the song in the future. From here, it is proved that resurrection of the dead is derived from the Torah. On a similar note, you can say, then Joshua will build an altar to the Lord God of Israel on Mount Ebal, Joshua 8:30. It is not stated built in the verse, rather the term will build is stated. From here, resurrection of the dead is derived from the Torah. Ela me'ata oz givnei Shlomo b'melech mo shikutz mo'av hachanami diavne ela mala alav hakasu ki ilu bana. The Gemara challenges, if that is so, then in the verse, then Solomon will build an altar for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab. 1 Kings 11:7. Does this also mean that Solomon will build in the future? Rather, the use of the future tense here should be understood differently. Solomon did not build an altar to the idol. Rather, the use of the future tense teaches that the verse ascribes him blame as though he built it, since he did not prevent his wives from doing so. Therefore, no proof from the resurrection of the dead may be cited from this verse. Amar Rav Yehoshua ben Levi minan tchias meisim min haTorah shneimar ashrei Yoshua b'secha od yalucha sela hilucha lo neimar el yahalalucha yikam tchias meisim min haTorah. V'amar Rav Yehoshua ben Levi kol ha'omer shir b'olam hazeh zoche v'omer lo haba shneimar Ashrei Yoshev od Yelucha Sela. Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi says, from where is resurrection of the dead derived from the Torah? It is derived from the verse, as it is stated, happy are they who dwell in your house. They will yet praise you. Selah, Psalm 84. Ashrei Yoshev yes, in 84 it's also, it's in 84. Verse 5. Yeah. It is not stated they praised you, but Torah isn't Tehillim. Tehillim isn't Torah. But we see, according to, it is not stated they praised you, and the verse rather that they will praise you. It is stated from here, resurrection of the dead is derived from the Torah. And Yehoshua ben Levi says, anyone who recites song to God in this world is privileged, and recites it in the world to come. As is stated, happy are they who dwell in your house, they will praise you. Selah. Amar B'chia bar Abba, Amar Yochanan minayin l'tchiyas meis ben Torah, shemar kol tzofayech nasu kol yachdav yiranenu v'gomer. Rinenu b'lo nemar ela yiranenu. Mikan l'tchiyas meis ben Torah, Amar Rabbi Chia bar Abba, Amar Yochanan tidim kol הנביאים כולם אומרים שיר בכל אחד שנאמר כל צופייך נעשו כל יחדיו ירננו. Rabbi Chia bar Abba says that Rabbi Yochanan says, from where is resurrection of the dead derived from the Torah? It is derived from the verse, as it is stated, your watchmen, they raise the voice. Together they shall sing, for they shall see eye to eye the returning to Zion. Isaiah 52, verse 8, it is not stated they sang in the verse, rather the term together they sing is stated. From here, resurrection of the dead is derived from the Torah. And Rabbi Chia bar Abba says that Rabbi Yochanan says all the prophets are all destined to recite song in one voice. As is stated, your watchmen, they raise the voice, together they shall sing. Rav Yehuda Marav, Kol HaMonea Halacha Mepi Talmid, Ki'ilu goes lo v'nachlat Avot Avshinemar Torah Tzivalanu Moshe Morasha Kilad Yaakov. Rav Yehuda says that Rav says, with regard to anyone who withholds halacha from being studied by the mouth of a student who seeks to study Torah, it is as though he robs him of the inheritance of his ancestors. As it is stated, Moses commanded us the Torah and inheritance of the congregation of Jacob, Deuteronomy 33, verse 4, indicating that the Torah is an inheritance. Morashahi, Chol Yisrael Misheshit Mi'Bereshit. It indicates that the Torah is an inheritance for all the Jewish people from the 6 days of creation. Rav Chana bar Bizna, Rav Shimon Chasida, Kol Abonei Alach Talmid Afilu Ovrin Shibemei Ima B'Kal So Shinemar Monea bar. Okay. Rav Chana bar Bizna says that Rabbi Shimon Chasida says, with regard to anyone who withholds halacha from being studied by the mouth of a student who seeks to study Torah, even fetuses in their mother's womb curse him, as it is stated, and we'll see this tomorrow, God willing. He who withholds bar